So welcome to the Mena breakout session. Woohoo! Come on, somebody's got to be enthusiastic around here. What'd you think about her presentation? Wasn't that pretty nice? I don't know about you, I'm ready to drive to Mena. I've always wanted to go there, and after watching that, especially the pictures of the Cossatot State Park and everything, it's like, okay, I guess I'm going to take a weekend vacation and go to Mena this year.
2.5 hours from here.
I don't care what the time is. After watching that, I'm like, it's worth the drive. So, all right, so we have a couple things we're going to try and accomplish in our little breakout session here. And we have two key questions we're going to be answering. And then we're going to do a little report out at the end as these things kind of go. So our first question we have for you has to do with what we were kind of doing a little bit at lunch, which is the AHA insights. And what we'd like to know are what are some of your AHA insights that you have had so far in the conference? And more importantly, how do you relate that to Mena? All the information you just saw on the screen. So does anybody have a particular AHA insight that they want to throw up here? And what we're going to do, you know, she had dots on the chair. Somebody asked, oh, I have dots. Wonder what those are for. After we have our little insights, we're going to kind of rank those by having you vote with dots. And then we're going to do another question. You get to vote with your dots. So, you know, refrain from putting them on your neighbor and having other sorts of fun with those. They actually serve a purpose. So does anybody have an AHA insight related to Mena?
I think that she noted one thing in the presentation about the demographics. You know, where does everyone go? They grow up here, they leave, and they come back when they retire. And something that was addressed this morning in the keynote was about how to get, you know, your educated kid, you know, your kids that leave and go off and get their education and then get them to come back.
Okay.
I think that might be something that would really benefit Mena.
All right. This is our recorder. He's rapidly writing your idea down. All right, so while that one is getting written down, do we have another AHA insight? Yes, ma'am.
One thing that you said this morning was that you have to change the culture to make your strategy work.
Right, changing the culture of the town because some people have that.
And to me, in Mena, where she was talking about that we had a lot of, you know, stops and starts.
Right.
That trying to figure out how to change that culture. And, you know, maybe the tornado did part of that, but trying to change that culture to where there is a long-term commitment.
Yeah. If you remember, one of the things she mentioned is one of the detriments was isolationist.
Yeah.
You know, that's a culture. So, you know, what you're talking about is how do we change that isolationist culture? How do we change, you know, so we want to bring in folks who are scared of outsiders, but it's the outsiders who have money to spend. You look at Stuttgart, they're bringing in outsiders with Learjets.
Yeah.
You know.
A good example of that in Mena is that I'm on the I-49 International Coalition Board. We had a presentation on that in our regional coalition, and to compare, I moved to Mena from Little Rock in '84, and I married into a furniture store there. And on Main Street, my father-in-law and his buddies, if you mentioned I-49, you would get hung in effigy because you just did not want to have the, you know, that scared them to death instead of seen as a plus, you know. But there is enough change now. People see the need. Because you always hear, we want our kids to come back. Talk about having your kids come back. We get I-49, the jobs and what that would create, they will be able to come back. So that cultural change, and also, of course, Rich Mountain Community College is a huge cultural change because we have first generation kids going to school. I could go on, but anyway, that's how it.
All right. Now, Gar, you're actually from Mena, and you said a minute ago you actually had some insights today. You want to share one of your insights?
Well, an insight I've picked up
or an aha moment
to it is, you know, I have found out all these stop and starts. We finally got our regional coalition put together, but what I found, I don't know why it didn't dawn on me being a retailer, but you have to get. It's always the same people doing everything, right?
Right.
So if you want to get the community a buy-in, you've got to get the information out. So you have to have a cooperative media, and you have to ask them to participate. You got to make sure they're at your meeting. So everybody, if you want to get a buy-in in the community, you got to make sure people know what's going on, and make sure you bring them along. Because if you go out there and just throw something at them someday, they're going to go, wait a minute now, do we really want, you know, you got to educate them the whole way through. So you have to keep it you have to keep yourself in the media. You have to make sure they're cooperative and they can really help you.
Right.
and keep informed. And so I just think it's important to market your ideas to your community.
Okay, so the media is our friend. All
That's
right,
right.
good idea.
It
All
can
right,
be.
can be your friend until somebody asks the wrong question or something. Basil.
I think maybe perhaps something an insider aha moment. I thought about the challenges that elected officials have in trying to sell this buy-in for the community and buy-in for the community, because oftentimes we see we're marketing things to the airport, you know, to bring in jobs. Well, we see things at the airport, great. We see things for this big company over here, that's great. But what the average person will finally say, what have you done for us, the people who don't go to the airport, who don't work at this factory? And so you have to diversify your community development enough to see some parks, to see some trails, to see some schools, to see enough of all those things so that all the people in the community feel like they can buy in because you're doing something for them and not just for the money people or to attract industry, to attract the other people from outside the community inside.
Okay, looks like we have your idea going up over here in green. Robert or Bob?
Two unrelated things. The I-40 development, I-49, I guess. I'm in Bentonville.
Okay.
So from Joplin to
Yeah, you guys already have it kind of going down through
we
there.
got the Bella Vista bypass that we think will never get built because of economics of it. But we need to sell the economic impact of that's to be the first major interstate to go in since the 50s.
Right.
That long, that big a stretch. You know, we've
Right.
got loops and we've got bypasses, but this is from Minnesota to Louisiana.
Uh huh.
The impact on the state and the impact on the local economy just can't be downplayed. And some of these people that are against it, if they realize the increased taxes that will be collected from businesses that will come off these interchanges, the local employment that's going to be
Okay.
impacted by
I
construction.
think right now you're actually giving me a response for our next question, which are going to be what are some of the breakthrough solutions, which is what are some things we could do to actually apply this. So I think you're actually a little ahead of the future by about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna come back to you with that if you don't mind. We're gonna have a second question in a minute, which are what are the breakthrough solutions. And I think your idea with the 49 and the education, that's more of a breakthrough solution type thing. So the education part that you saw here with the community college and some of that, and the need to educate the young, is that what I'm hearing?
Well, no, I was just going to mention the tourism.
Oh, the tourism
I saw
part.
In those pictures, I saw some whitewater, some rapids.
So the aspect of whitewater rafting and
They
Mena
don't
was
have
an
that
aha moment for
anywhere
you.
Except in eastern Arkansas. I don't know of any whitewater in western Arkansas.
Okay.
So they've got something that I don't think exists in western Arkansas.
All right. So whitewater was an aha moment for you. Okay. What else was an aha?
I think that we need to involve the younger people, like the high school students, in
Uh-huh.
finding out what their vision for their community is, and
Right.
maybe they won't leave if you start implementing some.
Now there were a lot of youth ideas through this morning. So was there one particular one that stood out as like that was the one that had created the aha moment for you? Like,
Well, we are getting ready to do a strategic steering committee, and I think somebody from our youth council should be on that committee. So that's
all right. So the concept of putting youth as part of the decision-making process was an aha moment for you. Okay.
And piggybacking on that, the one that said get the students involved, get them to set up a business, I think that was a wonderful way to maybe use a space somewhere, let them develop entrepreneurial skills. And I thought that was really cool. That's it.
All right. So for you, it was the faith-based, renting the space and helping the kids get started with a business, creating the Ark down there on Main Street where they had a place to hang out, buy ice cream, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think to tie that in, the entrepreneur of today, in the theme of keeping kids coming back, all you need to be an entrepreneur now is an idea and a computer, and you're just about done. It's not, you don't have to go lease a building, take a business plan for $1 jillion.
Right.
You've seen it come out of I always think, all these guys have made $1 billion starting in their garage. I wish I'd just started in my garage. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But that, you don't need so those kids can stay there if they just, yeah.
So another one of your aha moments was like youth entrepreneurship, the idea that we could actually help teenagers and younger middle school kids start businesses, learn the business process. That was a breakthrough kind of idea for you. You went eureka. This is something that's worth taking home. This made it worth the drive today. Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that you talk about the youth and you talk about the incubator, I think in a downtown area where you have a lot of vacant buildings, if you do involve the youth, then you involve the parents and the grandparents, and it's like a ripple effect. But I think the whole downtown area, we really need to take a look at that and then take these other concepts and piggyback them, as you said, onto coordinating all of them, the youth, the entrepreneurial aspect, the beautification of the downtown. It's sort of like a domino. If you hit one, you hit a number. And I think that's something that would really help the community.
Okay. Is there anybody else that had, something like you were sitting here today and you just had to write this down? Is something you want to take back?
I believe she mentioned that the Queen Wilhelmina Lodge is going to be closed for restoration
Right.
for over a year.
Okay.
Well, near-term opportunity is showcasing downtown Mena because now you can't stay on the mountain. Now
Right.
You can't eat on the mountain.
Sure.
So that's going to drive that traffic down.
I'm following you, but
on the Oklahoma side.
I think that's going to be one of our breakthrough solutions we're going to talk about here in just a moment, because we're taking the idea, okay, this is happening, so therefore we can do this, and we're going to talk about some breakthrough solutions in a moment. But any more aha moments, like when you were sitting here today, you were like, aha, this is an idea?
Yeah, this is an idea, all right, because I deal with the small cities in the Delta,
Uh-huh.
Southeast Arkansas, back and Northeast, in those areas. And all this sounds good, what's going on in these small cities, Mena and up near Benville and all that. But when we look down in the Delta part, where it's missing, that's my aha moment, to get it going and get it started. And we're hoping that with those two projects we got in those areas that's coming, that it will actually spark that interest and spark that motivation where they will get up and start helping to revitalize their area, get tourism going, because history is in the Delta as well. And all this, but we got to be able to pump it up and pump them up. And in the Deltas is different because they want to see things.
All right,
We can meet all
so
day
your aha,
until they see it.
so your aha moment was like we could do rural tourism in our area, or?
We need to get that going. Yeah, because there's a rich history in the Arkansas Delta.
Right. Okay.
Kind of one
Pat?
of the things that, as I was listening, was that sometimes all of your assets, if you just focus and focus and focus on those assets to get your greater picture of where you want to go, that is better than trying to find all of the things that are wrong, because you'll never fix everything that's wrong.
Right.
And that you just can stay forward on your assets. So I'm not sure how you keep the vision. That's I run into that as well. And how do you keep, especially volunteers who aren't paid, to keep the vision for where it is the community wants to go, and where is it you want to go? Somehow you can get 20 people together and they all want to go someplace different. So getting them all down that same funnel is the big thing for volunteers.
Okay.
So
And, all right, and we're going to need to wrap up this question, so let's see if...
Ida and Montgomery County, being on Lake Ouachita, we've got tourist attractions, and that's what we've recognized, that we got to go that way. But then I looked at the farmers market, and maybe we should get them into a building in downtown, let them have air conditioning. The vegetables don't wilt.
So Ed's Farmgate presentation was an aha moment for you. Good. Yeah, I thought that was a fascinating thing, and I was sitting there looking at slides, yesterday, and I'm like, what is this pig doing here? It's like, and there's no words, so I have no idea what he's going to say about that slide. So, all right, so we're gonna kind of put these aside temporarily, and we're gonna move to our second question. So we've had these aha moments today, and you've heard the briefing about Mena. You know what their resources are. You know what some of the not so good things that are going on there. So let's talk about some breakthrough ideas. Let's kind of put our collective heads together and see what can we do given the information we now have on Mena. We have a map over here if anybody needs to reference that. I've got a couple other little statistics if you forget the demographics or whatever, but like if you were in the position of Mena, what are some ideas you would have? What would you do to break through where Mena's currently at, and let's take Mena, to the next level out there? And so one of the ideas we had, Bob was talking about I-49. So this is a good time. Like, all right, they're talking about I-49. If we could get I-49 to come through, what are some of the breakthrough solutions related to I-49 that they could do?
Well, I think there's a group, I'm not sure, somebody here knows, I think there's a group that goes from north to south. That's all the different cities that are involved. First of all, you need to get involved in that group.
It used to be a whole bunch, so they formed the I-49 International Coalition, so it wasn't so shotgun effect. We have a director, an executive director, Gardway, and he came to our coalition, spoke the other day on the progress. I won't go into those details, but that is a real positive thing. Financing is the big deal. Now they're thinking out of the box, and they're talking about forming these mobility sections all the way down to raise money. The idea, it's the biggest bang for your buck if you want to, for Arkansas. It'd be so incredible for really the whole state.
And so that's what I think you need to do, and I think we all need to reach out to the rest of the state and really be able to communicate to them what it's going to impact the whole state, not just the western part of it.
And we're the missing link.
The entire state.
We're the missing link, and I mean the pressure's on now. Everybody, we just got Governor Beebe's endorsement 6 months ago, so it's on.
All right, so let's really ratchet this up to the breakthrough level. I mean, we've got this Interstate 49 possibly coming through. We've got a regional group that's already working together with towns and stuff. Now, if you're the town of Mena, how do I take this knowledge information? I've got I-49 possibly coming through in 5-10 years. How do I turn that into a breakthrough for Mena? What do I need to do to position my town to now be ready for I-49? Do we need to have diesel training at the community college? Do I need to start hospitality? What can I do to take this knowledge and information and take my town really? We're talking breakthrough. We're not talking about incrementalism. We're talking something bold, something new, something different. Maureen, you got an idea?
I would think hospitality training is so important.
Okay.
Or whether it be your little stores or whatever, and the look of the town.
Right.
Those two things, people, that they take notice of the town as they come through. Wow, look at that, look at that, look at that.
All right, so possibly starting a hospitality training program, in conjunction with a community college or something, because people want to come, they want fine food, they want to have nice service. If you're going to be landing Learjets out there, they're not staying at the Super 8. All right, they want to be pampered, high quality of service.
You can start that with branding and communication. Like the video.
Uh-huh.
In the beginning of the Mena presentation, she started out with some things that were kind of not the best attributes of the town, but then whenever she went into the good attributes of the
Uh-huh.
town, there were so many wonderful assets that the community had, and I think if they would, if there was a focus on branding and communication and getting the word out, in addition to, coupling that with I-49 and some of the possibilities.
Yeah,
All right.
She said there were 5 different websites. Maybe there would be an opportunity to combine those into one great website.
We just did.
Just did. All
Right.
right.
If you go.
All right, so
our coalition website has it.
so let's put on our thinking cap still some more. We got one idea, like I-49 is going to come through. We possibly want to crank up
11's
hospitality.
I-49. Tourism is probably the biggest commonality in our regional coalition.
Right.
The 3 counties. So as I was trying to explain to a gentleman the other day who was worried about it, I said it's going to make it bigger, it's going to make it better. Because now people are going to be coming from Canada to Lake Ouachita. They're going to be coming to do, we have 4-wheel trails through the Ouachita National Forest. They tried to take it away, but we saved it. But anyway, there's just going to increase that activity, but you're going to have to market to it now. It's not just going to be coming from Shreveport, Louisiana, and Dallas. They're going to be then coming from. They're going to be able to get to us easier.
Okay.
So we're going to have more tourism.
All right. Now, to give you an idea of kind of like where we're trying to go with the breakthrough solutions, we kind of staffed this last week when we did a steering committee meeting for the conference. We kind of went through this kind of exercise with like a handful of us folks to do this. And one of the ideas that came out amongst our breakthroughs related to the I-49 and bringing in tourists and stuff was, and this is kind of like where we're trying to take breakthrough solutions, is the idea is to turn Mena into a Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but you got high dollar people coming there for skiing, the summer hiking and everything like that, making that a tourist destination where like, oh, you haven't gone to Mena this year? You know, or we're gonna do our fall in Mena this year. You know, that's the kind of breakthrough solution we're looking at. It's like not looking at like how do I take it up another little increment, how do I add another 100 people or so. It's like how do I take Mena from here to here? What is the real breakthrough, you know, idea that we could do? You know, so an idea like making a Jackson Hole type destination.
I think along those lines, you really have to get, you know, you have to start the community thinking now about the vision and what they want the community to become, because while I-49 can bring some great things, and
Right.
bring a lot of people, if you want to become that Jackson Hole, you have to be real careful about how you treat the I-49 corridor.
Right.
Right? So that it doesn't just, so it doesn't just look like any other Arkansas town along an interstate.
Right.
You know, if you want to set yourself apart, I think that everyone's got to start thinking about it now and have that vision in mind and be ready for it. So
Right.
that whenever it comes online, you can establish that.
And we have to change some of the culture. You know, it's like no taking shots at the cars going down the freeway. You know, that's not practice for deer season. So,
In the land use planning, we also have the people who are afraid of change have some say over how it's going to develop, how it's going to look, and you know, ease some of their concerns that they know they're not going to end up having this horrible, ugly-looking thing down the street from them.
okay, so one of the resources we saw in the presentation was there was a lot of emphasis on the outdoors. Mena sits surrounded by national forest. You've got the Cossatot, you got the whitewater. I know that's related to tourism, but is there something else we can do with that? You know, is there something we can do to take that to another level and maybe create a breakthrough?
Excuse me, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, while you're waiting for I-49, you've already got the airport there.
Okay.
And if you look at what Branson, Missouri was able to do, to kind of scale that back, they put in an airport. Now that was way over and above, we didn't kind of get to see how successful that's really gonna be. But if you could get either charters or smaller groups to bring people in for, whitewater on a certain, you know, period of time a year or whatever the outdoor activities would
Right.
be to start that idea of bringing people in by air. I mean, they'll fly to a Canadian island, you know, and spend a fortune to go and do something. It's just like Mena, Arkansas. And so why wouldn't they come, make use of the airport to bring tourists in there and start that idea of it being a really great place to visit? And then when the interstate comes in, you can play off of what's already been built as an easier way to get to Mena.
All right, so leveraging the airport somehow.
And was there also a scenic road, in particular?
Talamina Scenic?
Talamina Scenic Drive. I mean, is there a way to ramp that up? I mean, think Blue Ridge Parkway.
Uh-huh.
You know, if you talk about getting people there, making it an experience, not, you know, an experience getting to the destination.
All right, Craig, you had an idea?
Waiting on the interstate.
You've got the Skull Crusher there. You've got the Cossatot River, and if I'm remembering correctly, it's still level 4 rapid. And why don't you have your own version of the kayaking X Games that attract
All right.
youth?
Now this is the kind of breakthrough stuff we're looking. We're not thinking incrementalism. Let's just bring in people whitewater. Now we're talking about let's bring in like whitewater X Games type stuff. So we're taking the little idea and we're making it. We're thinking a little bit bigger here.
Down that river, and it will crush your skull.
Okay. We got about 10 minutes, so we can spend another 1 or 2 minutes kind of developing some more breakthrough ideas here.
How about the airport? You've got a place for Learjets. How about a retreat? People have these retreats. They have these people, they come in, they want to get somewhere that's out of the way, they don't want to be bothered, turn the phone off, and corporations want
So when you say retreat, you're talking spas, hot tubs, relax, or education facilities? Corporate retreats and
where they
meetings.
Come in and they have think tank deals. I mean,
Well, we hope on Queen Wilhelmina State Park,
Change their environment.
we wanted them to enlarge it in the redo. Of course, you never get all you want, but I wanted a much bigger area that which you could do corporate retreats, a reasonably large one.
Okay.
It's going to be better.
we could do that right now.
Yeah.
The I-49 is 15 years,
Yeah.
20 years, but you could change over. You've got an airport there.
Right.
Learjets could come there, and you could advertise throughout the United States. This is a place where you can come and spend
All right.
time.
So,
It's a beautiful place.
So one of our breakthrough ideas, possibly taking Mena to becoming renowned for corporate retreats. I mean, we have an airport; they can easily fly in the executives, and we're going to do hospitality. I mean, I can see this kind of coming together.
Have your plane refurbished while you wait.
Okay. Let me bring up something that kind of surprised.
Increase the amount of marijuana that you're bringing in.
Actually, related to that, let me bring up something that we noted last week. We were looking at some preliminary information that had been done by Mena when they had some meetings, and something that was off their list of resources, and it didn't show up in the slideshow today, that we feel could really be leveraged is that Mena is the only town on the Ouachita National Scenic Trail. It's a 220-mile backpacking trail. Mena is like right on that. Now, I hike the Appalachian Trail, and I can tell you the average backpacker is a little higher income, especially if they're in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And by the time they get to Mena, they probably spend a week or 2 weeks out in the woods. Usually by that time, they're wanting a little coddling. They want to take a day off the trail. They're looking for a hotel, some nice food, some chance to look at something other than trees and what we call the green tunnel. So how could we leverage something like the Ouachita National Trail? We have this wonderful resource, not just in Mena, it stretches across western Arkansas, and we're not really leveraging that here in the state. So what are some ideas of how we could maybe leverage that?
It would be so great if we had a trail from Mena to the Ouachita, to Mena, and have those little cabins tucked away, that it's like rustic as well, but comfort.
Okay.
That's the real hikers.
Well, let me give you a little bit of further idea how this is being developed. In the east, we have the Ouachita National Scenic Trail. They actually have the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. It's a nonprofit that helps support the trail. They have volunteers that take care of it. But they've been working with towns to develop official trail towns. There are certain towns that are along the trail, such as Irwin, Tennessee. They're now designated national trail towns. We actually have the townspeople coming on some of the bulletin boards with the hikers hanging out saying, what do we need to do in our town to bring you in? And the hikers are saying, we need a laundromat, we need, showers, we need this, we need shuttles. There's a lot of small businesses that can be ginned up to make extra income in the rural areas. Shuttling, $2 a mile to shuttle somebody from the trail to town back to the trail, help them get to the grocery store. There's a lot of amenities. That section of the Ouachita Trail is very, very dry. There's not a lot of water sources. So townspeople who could go out and drop off caches of food or caches of water. Hikers like to resupply. If there's only one grocery store, maybe they can't get a particular food they want on the trail. They do what are called mail drops. So if your motel or your bed and breakfast is able to receive boxes and hold them for a hiker, that is a very valuable service to somebody who's doing long distance backpacking. So
that would work good. We already have a multi-million-dollar ATV industry,
right,
industry, and a cabin system that's built all around it. The problem is that the hurdle would be you have to work with the Forest Service. And they're a lot more cooperative than they used to be, but that is they have ATV tourism towns just like your hiking town.
Right.
And so we need to take more advantage of the hiking than we are. Also, I think bicycling is a huge deal.
Right.
And I'd like to see it around in Fayetteville. My son can get on his bicycle and go all the way from East Fayetteville to Dixon Street. It's just awesome.
Right.
We need more of that.
Okay. So we're in the last few minutes. We need to wrap this up. So if you have your little dots there, what we'd like you to do is we need you to come forward. I'm going to spread these out on the table here some. So if we can spread those out a little bit here. Well, they're actually sticky, so if you very carefully peel it off, they will fit on the wall. And what we'll do is we'll let you guys come up here. You got your dots just here to the left. We gave you some space. If you would put a dot. Each dot's a vote. So go ahead and break out your dots. Start. Well, you have 3 dots, and we have 2 things we need you to vote on. So that gives you like 1 for each plus the spare one. So if you want to throw a little extra weight on an idea, that's fine. But you're only going to get the 3 dots. No stealing ones off the other chairs.
What's the 3? Breakthrough?
No, we only have 2. We have 2 categories. AHA insights. We need you to tell us what are your top insights, and we need to know what are your top breakthroughs.
So do we need more dots?
No, you just need 3. So Come on up and start putting some dots by these, so because we have to do a quick count and we have to report this out. Don't be shy. Everybody's sitting still. All right, let's move this out of the way.